Greetings to all our beautiful listeners. Welcome to the Empowerment Podcast. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be back, to be giving you great content, to be giving you great conversations as always. Greetings, Luna, Kumalo. Hope you're having a great day, having a great time. Thank you for your consistent support. Thank you for your consistent love and spreading the word and your messages continuously supporting and encouraging to us. Definitely share us your messages. We love hearing them. We love getting them. We love hearing from you about how we're empowering you. And yes, this is our brand new show that we've announced last week or that we began last week, the Empowered show. I hope you are going to have a great time again. And we are still continuing as promised with the episode where we're talking about the digital age and everything AI and everything online and coding. So it's a very vast topic, as you know that we couldn't conclude it last week on the last episode that we did last Thursday. So we've decided to come back this week and to try and conclude it again. And if we are not going to be able to conclude it, then we'll just have to leave it up to you as our listeners to give us a way forward of how we can handle this. But we'll try our level best to conclude it today and to make sure that we cover all the areas that we couldn't cover last week. Definitely don't forget to get engaged with us on all our social platforms. We're available on Facebook as Empowerment Podcast. We're available on Instagram, Empowerment Podcast. We're available on Twitter or X, Empowerment Podcast. We're available just across all your favorite platforms as Empowerment Podcast. If you do not see that green logo, then that is not us. We are Empowerment Podcast and we are here to empower you. Also, please definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. As I said last week, that we are on a mission of reaching 1,000 subscribers before June, and we are hoping that we are going to be able to reach that. Last time I checked, we were on 219 subscribers. We urge you to increase that number. At least let us by the end of Feb, let us be at 500 subscribers. I believe you, Empowerment Podcast family, you can do that. Let us be at 500 subscribers. Because listen, if we are able to reach 1,000 subscribers before June, we'll do a live podcast interview here in Durban. So yeah, looking forward to that. But we can only be able to do it, or we are only going to committing to do it if we reach 1,000 subscribers. So it is important, it is a mission, and we are even going to be doing giveaways on the platform. A lot that is planned for this campaign that we've started off reaching 1,000 subscribers and beyond. It's not just 1,000. 1,000, it's the beginning. We want to reach a million, 100,000. We want to reach more, but we want to first start with 1,000 subscribers. And we believe that with your help, we'll be able to do it. So, enough about the Empowerment Podcast. Let's get to today's show. On the line, I have, as always, Noma, as last week, Samgelo Mngoma, who helped us unpack on this topic of coding, digital age, and we got to know a lot about him, and we got to talk about a lot of social issues that we face as a country, and we got to know about an opportunity that is there for the people of South Africa. We got to know about an opportunity that is there even for the graduates of South Africa, and I know that conversation got a lot of people thinking, and it got a lot of people talking about these opportunities that we are overlooking. But today, as I said, we'll try to continue with the episode. We'll try to continue with the conversation, and we will make sure that we get each and every corner of the conversation done. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not alone. Let us welcome Samuel Mgoma. Bro, how are you today?
Oh, I'm well, thanks. I am well, thanks. And how are you today, Mr. Kumar?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Last week you left us with a headache because you shared a lot of things that we overlooked. You shared a lot of things that we didn't thought are there. Yeah, our listeners are confused, if I may put it in that way.
Hmm,
But more than confused, they're enlightened. I think there's a new purpose.
definitely. I'm glad to have been part of the spark or the fuel, but either or, definitely glad to be part of the process.
Thank you so much, man. As we said, we're continuing. Last week we left off, just have finished talking on the. I remember that we had just finished towards the closing minutes of the podcast. We were talking on a lot about the matching the skills that the society have with the opportunities that are there. And you did, oh, ladies and gentlemen, he did send me, as he had promised, the stats and the numbers. And it's really scary to see those numbers and comparing them. It's like there's a bigger opportunity than there is the crisis. It's like the crisis is way less compared to the opportunities that are there in the digital world. And it's coming back again to what you said when you said it's genetic ignorance, where we assume that if you're not hired in the corporate world, then you're not employed. Whereas there's this great opportunity that is there in the digital world and and we are living in a digital age. And maybe let's go a little bit deeper on that, and then we can continue. I think it's only fair we begin from that point and then we move on.
Mm, yeah,
Mm,
definitely. I would definitely would like you to just unpack the question in a way that would be conversational. Even
okay.
our listener on the other side must feel like they are part of this thing, so that before I give an answer, they must already have an idea of on their side, from their perspective, what would they see, and then from there we build knowledge together and an understanding.
Okay, I get that. But my question is basically on the challenge versus the opportunity, as we have said before. How can we
Mm.
address this challenge that we have of high unemployment versus the opportunities that are there, as you sent me those stats? How can we equate the two? Because I think it's something that is frustrating to see, but at the same time confusing when you look at these other green pastures that are there, or how, according to your
Mm.
understanding, obviously.
Well, um, I definitely do have a few perspectives on how we could go about the matter. And I think before I unpack that important thing, I think there's a very important part of this conversation I think we kind of forgot to mention initially, but we
Okay.
did mention through outcomes, as in people not being able to reach this type of information, or not having this access towards the information itself. Um, Basically, there's something called social dynamics, of which obviously give other people a better opportunity than others. But social dynamics is just the overall study of how people live and their influences in living their lives. Right. So when we are talking about social dynamics, we are talking about combining insights into beliefs, political influence, consumer behavior, cultural norms, access to technology, the type of education available, the economic systems that are currently engaged in. And basically, that whole concept gives us something big companies would like to call social engineering, right?
Okay.
It is how the external factors influence you to being and doing what you do, of which obviously plays a very huge role. So I think one of the major factors that could assist us in shifting the demand that is currently there to becoming opportunities for the people that are currently looking for them is to ensure that the people understand which opportunities are available. I think to give you an example, if anyone farms, I'm not any familiar in farming, but I do know that seasons change, and within farming, there are certain things that are seasonal and there are things that are not seasonal, right? Vegetables and fruits. So during season, if you're planting the right type of fruit for that season, regardless whether the quality of the seed is as great or as bad, or the quality of the soil is as great or as bad, but for the mere fact that the season itself has an additional influence in improving the possibility of the seed's growth, then more seeds are going to spawn out and actually have a vegetative outcome where they are either producing the vegetables we want or the fruits or whatever trees that we want, in comparison to planting the same seed
Mm.
against its season, where after you plant it, regardless of the amount of sunlight and water you may give it, it just seems to die out and not even spawn out.
Mm.
So I think we can look at in a similar manner, but in a far larger scale. So seasons being centuries, not just a few decades. And when we are talking like that, the past season was the industrial age, where a lot of processes were becoming simplified, things where machinery and computers have been introduced.
Mm.
In this age, we are automating. All right.
Okay.
Now it's a different seed as a whole. And I think the biggest thing will be to teach people and show people that this season, this is what's going to be right.
Mm.
And only then, by sparking interest into people and by directing them, then we
Mm.
can start building a gap or a bridge between the current demand and the supply, as people are actually currently doing. People
Mm.
on my Instagram have been asking me, yo, what are you doing? Where did you get this thing? Where are you
Yeah.
coding?
Yeah.
Where did you learn? And I share. And that's somewhere in bridging the gap from a person who didn't know about this thing and this opportunity. And then for them to see me as a close person doing it, then
Yeah.
they are able to be like, oh, this is an opportunity that I would probably like to take advantage of, you
Okay.
know? Yeah, I think that's where we are. I think the most we can do is to do things like this. The podcast that you're doing is actually playing a significant role
Mm. Mm.
in actually spreading that word, um, along with all the other processes, from just sharing the work that we do, providing high quality work, meeting and the customers' demands. All these small impacts that happen will have an outcome where a person is going to have a positive comment to another person about this thing.
Yeah.
And that is going to spark interest. And that's the only way that we can do it, because there's already resources available.
Mm. No, man, thank you. And you just put it perfectly. Um,
Mm.
there's one thing I know about my people, and I know a lot of people have asked this. Especially, and I'm sure even yourself, you've got a lot of these questions. The question, in fact, that I'm about to ask. Are there
Yeah.
specific industries or sectors within our country that are actively seeking professionals in these fields, in both coding and online marketing? Can a person, because as I said earlier on, people want to be hired. People believe it's still ingrained in our mind. We could run away from it as much as we can, but we'll always come back to it. If you're not seen waking
Mm.
up in the morning and going to some building, then to them you're not working. You you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you're just hustling, you know. And hence my question, are there specific industries or sectors within the country that are actively seeking professionals in these fields?
All right. I think if you'll allow me, I would like to use an example that is actual reality as an answer to that question.
Go ahead, man.
So if you go to the Department of Communications, you're going to find our Department of Communications in South Africa. You're going to find a piece that says a total of 255 government services have been identified for digitization in consultation with DPSA and GCIS to modernize the government business processes for improvement of efficiencies in the public service. In collaboration with the State Information Technology Agency, SITA, our department has facilitated the creation of e-government services. Obviously, that's straight to the eservices.gov.za site, where you find the online version of, well, government services, where you'd have to mostly go to buildings to interact with. This portal has been built on the model of enabling life of a citizen from cradle to the grave and beyond, which means from your birth certificate all the way to your death certificate. They just put it in a very fun way. Um, Currently, 120 e-services have been digitized. 61 e-services have been developed and hosted by CETA, and 59 have been developed by other government departments. There are 300,000 monthly users in the portal. So, with that alone, already shows you the general initiative from the government.
Mm.
As much as it might not be as publicized or as recognized as other things, but the government has already started the shift in trying to automate and digitize most of their processes, of which means a lot of the jobs that are currently available, guess what's going to happen to them? They're going to be integrated with digitization. You're going to find teachers are going to have to start using laptops now to make online or take online submissions, probably in the next 7 years, 5 to 7 years, if not sooner. And that's going to be a standard throughout the whole country. You have your accountants having to understand how to use models because they've realized it's far simpler to just have one model be able to run numbers than for a person to consistently do their books manually through data entry and calculation, right?
Oh,
And these systems that they are using, they need to be developed and they need to be maintained. They also need to be workshopped, which means people need to be trained on. So
mm.
there are multitudes of different industries that are going to be getting um, open vacancies based in digitizations of those current services. Nothing new, just with technology.
Mm.
Mm.
No, man. Thank you. And I get it. I get it. And it's it's really comes back to what you said on actually having these conversations about these opportunities. Because if we don't have
Yeah.
these conversations as we are having it now, people won't know about these things that are out there. Maybe coming back to my question my following question on networking. How important is, and I remember that I asked you this question last week on our previous conversation, but I asked it in the context of these Forex guys who always text people saying, I just made 1 million, join my
Mm.
team, what. But now, not in that context. I'm asking networking in a sense of how can we share this information, understanding the previous statement that I just made, that a lot of people now have a narrative that says Forex people are not good people, they are scammers. So how can
They're
we have these
scammers.
conversations authentically and actually drive the true narrative? Because one of the things I wanted to do with this conversation that we're having, it was that because I've seen it work for you and you've told me many times
Mm.
about it and even gave me a lot of tips of how to do it myself. It was just me who hasn't done it. And looking at
Mm.
you, you've been an example that showed that this thing actually works. So how can, my question is
Mm.
then, how can we have these conversations and actually take people step by step into actually doing it themselves without them having the fear of being scammed, the fear of being defrauded their money, all of these things. Because let us be honest, these things are true. But as much as they are true, there's no other way of spreading the word without sharing this information to people, you know.
Mm.
And yeah, maybe let me end the question there because there's a lot that I can say on that. Because a lot of people are now skeptic of something that works because of these vouchers that have come forth before everyone and scammed people, you know.
Yeah. No, I think we first before we do that, we need to acknowledge that um there's a lot of danger in newer industries that are not regulated. That includes the crypto space and the technology space because without policies to govern certain things, there's no direct platform to voice out your issues
Mm,
and to ensure that maybe they're sorted in the manner. that they probably should be sorted in. Obviously, um,
Mm.
Wade, yeah. So with that being said, I think the most the most best way is just to have an authentic conversation and let someone else listen to it. So just like how we're talking now,
Mm.
I'm not advertising anything. I'm not even gonna advertise anything.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have any courses. I don't teach. I don't have any signals group. I did do all of these things, by the way, at some point, but I realized at some point it's not worth it for me. It's
Okay.
like I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, those type of authentic conversations and those type of engagements, they give people insight into the realistic side of it, because the only way people were scammed is that they were given or they were shown something that is eccentrically exciting.
Yeah.
Something that's just captivating, something that just got them and made them want to,
Mm.
instantly be
Mm.
a part of this. That
Yeah.
threw out rationale. So I think to combat that, we are required to be rational. Just sit
Mm.
down
Mm.
and be honest and have conversations around things and be like, in all, the things that we do have good and they have bad sides. But without regulation, it's obviously easier for people not to, let's say, find themselves disciplined or find themselves not taking advantage through greed or ill discipline, or just malice where they just want to do bad. But there's just so much openness in the space that
Mm.
obviously everyone is just going to go to the nearest shiny thing because there's no
Yeah.
walkway, there's no paths. You know what I'm saying? So to take that away, I think we just need to have more. We need to, yeah, we just need to have more conversations like this. Genuinely, I think people need to be a part of conversations where you, as a friend, are talking to another friend that you know is doing something and they've made something good out of it. And only then can the third person be interested and be like, okay, I hear this. So how do I go about it? Now that's where
Mm.
the problem actually starts, because this is a large platform and a lot of people listen to it. So
Mm.
as soon as you start saying particular things like names, or you
Mm.
directing ideas, then
Mm.
people are gonna flock there because they take it as advice. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
this is the guy, he's doing the thing. Me now, so
Mm.
I'm going to, put my efforts and energy behind this.
Mm. Mm.
And obviously people who are on the other side might be overwhelmed by the sudden um reception that they're getting from the people, and maybe forget that they have discipline. Maybe they even forget that they have ethics.
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, it makes it so much easier if it's just going to be authentic. If it's going to be shared authentically, people will understand it far better,
Mm. Mm.
you know. So I would say if people are interested in things like seeing which broker to trade with, or where to learn exactly how to trade, they'll probably just comment on your on the podcast. And then as the person there, the responses will come through from
Mm.
you, because obviously we'd have shared the information with you. And
Yeah.
in that way, we kind of diverts the energy of sponsorship and marketing. If we There's nothing wrong with marketing, by the way, you know.
Yeah.
But if one was in that position to be like, okay, do this and then I'll benefit this out of it, I don't want to do that right now. As much as it is going to probably shoot me in the foot, because I could have benefited so much out of it. But
Yeah.
it's those type of decisions that make a difference in the long term play out of things. So with that being said, I would say we need to have more authentic conversations. They just need to be given access to the other side that they haven't seen.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, and I want us to take it a little bit further. Mm, there's this thing, you also mentioned it, that these signal groups and whatnot and whatnot. How do those things work? And by me saying how they work, you said you've done it before. How did your group work? Maybe let me ask you specifically. How did your group work? Do you know signals that no one knows and you send them to the group? Or do you
No,
know
it's
signals
not
that
that.
have worked for you and you put them in the group for everyone to use? And is it
Yes,
guaranteed that
sir.
we will all have the same results as you had? Maybe clarify that for us.
So, with signals, it's like having an engagement with your mentor about what to do. So before like you get into a trade, he'll probably hop onto and analyze and then share his trade with you. It's okay. I'm gonna buy on whether Nasdaq or I'm gonna buy on USD JPY, whatever the case is. Like I'm gonna buy on this particular instrument, and I have my stop loss set here, and I have my take profit set there. And the people that buy or one subscribe to your signals are people that have seen you profitably perform. Hopefully they do verify like your performance, right? But they seen your performance and then they kind of want to imitate your trading style. So whenever you enter a trade, you kind of share it with them. So when you encounter a loss, guess what? They also encounter a loss. When you encounter profit, they also should be encountering profits. I say should because if we're in two different brokers and one is A book, one is B book, so one trade against me and one allows me to trade directly in the market, then we're going to have slightly different results, even though we might be risking the same amount on the same trade because one is, well, maybe doing other things more actively than the other. The other is allowing you to just interact with the market. And then the
Hmm.
other maybe is not necessarily letting you interact with the market, but it's filling orders for you. So instead of when you buy, the market's actually providing you a seller on the other side, it's
Hmm.
actually the broker that completes your order, right?
Okay.
And so in most cases, things do work like that. But with that being said, when the brokers do complete your order, but do not book the same order in the real market. So instead, you buy and then they give you a sell trade, but they do not have the same order in the real market, which means uh, you're not really in a trade. You just placed a trade, and then the broker is kind of like lying to you about you being in a trade and your money is just sitting in a bank account somewhere
Oh,
in that broker's bank account, just
yeah.
waiting for you to transact. So we have things like that where it's like that because they know the profitability ratio is so bad that obviously the people that will profit will probably not exceed the people that will lose. So everyone's just going to put in money and they're only going to book trades maybe they agree with. And then others, they'll just complete the orders but not book because they don't want to lose anything. Instead, they'll just wait for the trade and try to help it reach your loss level by either squeezing you out via margin or, taking away their bonus, whatever the case might be. But maybe even adding on spread. All of these things are things that they can do so that you see your loss growing to a point where it's cut out, and then obviously that amount of money is no longer yours, and it's just part of their bank account. So yeah, it's that, and that's why I said should should be
Okay.
the same. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
I saw that you also have that. Okay, we're not promoting them, but we're not promoting Google, but they should be sponsoring this because we're talking about them. Um, I saw that you have that Google free ad certificate. Um, maybe what benefits did it give you to have that certificate? Um,
Well,
in your journey now, with all of the other certificates that are added, but what benefits did it have for a person who's sitting at home, maybe who's considering to starting that certificate? What benefits would you say you got from having that certificate?
I think I'll say something very short and sweet, and then we'll go on an ad break. Um, so that we can come back again revitalized. I'm not sure if you're comfortable with that.
No
I'm not
problem.
sure if you're checking your screen.
Yes, 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 I can see.
Yeah. So that being said, um, my skill set right now is literally based on the knowledge I gained online. I didn't go to any school for this particular, well, not any institutional physical school,
Sure.
right, in this country that I walked to and sat down on a desk. But I did obviously attend these online schools, including, as you said, Google, for Google Analytics. So um, that gave me my full analyst background and understanding. Those type of certifications give you job readiness. It's like going to college. You know how college has emanated courses that are 6 months, three
Yeah.
6 months courses, yeah, like that. So basically, it's like that. It's a job readiness type of course where you take it specifically just to do those jobs and to be competent in that industry and in that particular field. So you can, from not knowing anything, as long as obviously you understand computer and English and the general stuff, you can hop onto Google or Coursera. Um, Obviously, I'm not promoting them, but they should definitely sponsor you and sponsor Empowerment Podcast to do more good things, or
Yeah.
anyone obviously in the industry. But with that being said, um, their courses are where you're going to be able to get enlightenment in terms of these fields, because who better to learn about working with internet related analytics stuff than the internet itself, Google. So with that being said, um obviously that's a very simplified
Mm, mm.
way of looking at things, but Google itself works with just data. They work with data. They're a big data center. They connect us to their search engine. They also provide us with maps. They provide us with Google Sheets. They provide us with so many different things that are all just data related. So
Mm,
when
mm.
you go to a place like that and learn about analytics and data, you really get to understand the extensive side of it. Unlike going to school and learning 5 years to become an actuarial scientist so that you can become an analyst. Because obviously, the only other way to get this type of job is to be very great in maths and all of these other things. Of which I'm not saying you don't have to be, like, you really don't have to be the best in maths, but you need to to be able to build a general understanding. But when we come back from our break, I think I'll be able to share a few things, like a few online platforms people could go to try and get that knowledge for free. Maybe not necessarily the certifications, but be able to access information for free.
Thank you, man.
I think we should go.
Yes, bro. As you were saying, that as much as you did try out the course, the Google course, you gained a lot of knowledge. I don't know if I'm correct if I'm saying basic knowledge or entry level knowledge, but you did have to equip yourself even further. Maybe you could expand on that and also share maybe other platforms that you used that have benefited you in growing your skill.
Definitely, my brother. I got from basic entry level to intermediate all the way to advanced knowledge. And obviously, from intermediate to advanced knowledge, the only way to get there is through practice. Like, they have actionable tasks that they give that obviously within the duration of learning and going through those courses and modules, you're going to be able to complete those tasks, and within completing that task, understanding, proficiency, and obviously those tool sets and whatever that you are supposed to be learning in that particular module is practiced probably 3-4 times before the module ends. And obviously they have tests asking you as to the specific questions that are relevant in the industry. And with that being said, I think it gives you a lot of preparation. In fact, it gives you as much preparation as you need to go directly in a job. Probably better preparation than most universities and colleges. Maybe I'm wrong. Most likely, some of them, I'm definitely wrong. But for the current skill sets that are demanded in the market, and at the current rate things are moving, I don't think people have the type of patience to do a 5 to 7 year course to do something that you could probably learn in 2 years with good practice. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I think people should definitely take and the opportunity and see these platforms if they want to learn. They definitely have paid options, but I'm just going to name the available ones where you're going to get free education, obviously. But if you can pay, pay. It's always okay, maybe not always. In certain situations, it is far better to pay for a service than to get a free version of the service because the quality of the service may differ. So, with that being said, if you are in the position to do so, if you are not, learn with the free up until you do get the position to do so, and then do so. You understand? Yeah. So the first one is Coursera. Coursera, Coursera is where I take most of my exams. It's a platform. They have a free tier, courses that come for free, and you can learn from start till the end. And they would not charge you. Obviously, they're relevant to the market, digital age, from analytics all the way to marketing and all the other relevant platforms.
Okay.
After Coursera, we have TED Ed, TED-Ed, like TED Education. It's
Wow.
also a platform. I'm not sure if you guys know TED Talks. There's TED Education version of TED Talks. It's also open source. It's available for people to do the same thing, to learn for free. Um, you have OpenStax, also a free platform, non-profit organization. Same thing. Peer reviews, licensed textbooks and everything. So the courses you get there are definitely worthwhile. You have Khan Academy, you have Future Learn. I mean, you have Sailor Academy, which is Saylor, which is also for humanities, computer science, and obviously other subjects. We
Hmm.
have Open Education Consortium, and then lastly we have GFC, which means Goodwill Community Foundation, LearnFree.org, which is obviously LearnFree.org is their platform. It's the GFC LearnFree.org platform, and that's where also you will do the same thing. All of these that I've mentioned, these resources have available um, information, courses, guides as to assist people to learn these things.
Hmm. Okay. No, I'll check some of them out. I'll check some of them out. And thank you, man, for the information. There are two questions remaining from my side. We may expand on them. I don't mind. One of them is the one of AI. Last week we touched on AI, but we didn't have a chance of going a bit further into it. It's one of the things that is busy getting people crazy. AI, artificial intelligence. There are a lot of things under it, but for now, a lot of people know that AI is ChatGPT. But it's it's sort of like the internet and Google. It's the same thing, but it's not the same thing, you know. There's also my second question or the follow-up question that I'll follow up with. It is the one on search engines. But let's start with the AI thing. You touched a bit on that. How is AI beneficial to an ordinary citizen in any country, not just in South Africa? And what, why do we need AI? Maybe, yeah, why do we need AI?
So, artificial intelligence, AI. As you can hear from the word itself, it's kind of self-descriptive, where it tells you what it is. It's intelligence. So it's like having a smart person that is artificial. So it's created. So with that being said, um, just like remember when I made an example of seasons of
Mm.
the Industrial Revolution being a century,
Yes,
one
yes.
season, and this being a new season, the digital age.
Mm.
So in the Industrial Revolution, we had a lot of simplification projects where things that used to be heavy, now you had things in between, like levers and whatnot to assist,
Mm. Mm.
and machinery. And now we are saying those levers and that machinery is not going to be operated by people moving forward. Obviously, for most businesses, that is probably the most cost-effective way
Mm.
to do things, and it's far faster. I mean, having 10 people in your workshop to operate maybe 3 4 machines, that could probably have an output of maybe 10 things per hour, 10 products per hour. You
Mm.
put machinery in under the charge of artificial intelligence, which is the type of error you can get are really limited to the scope that you set your AI to. So your AI is built on something called MLs, machine learning. So in machine learning, you basically have a lot of data information be run through an empty script that learns how to do things. It reads, understands, and then outputs. It's a machine learning model. So basically, to get an AI, you choose a particular data set and you train that model
Mm.
to have those outcomes. So ChatGPT is a LLM. It's a large learning model, which
Oh.
means that it uses a very large data set.
Mm.
And that's why it's able to answer so many things in such a variety of industries and
Yeah.
in such a definitive way. We also have a lot more AIs. Like we have Blackbox.ai, which is like ChatGPT, but it's more for coding. So for a person like me, coding something is going to take me probably, like, without anything, a
Mm.
good while, because I'm still new into coding, right? I'm
Okay.
not as familiar as a person who's been coding for like 10 years.
Okay.
I've probably been coding for like 4 years, but I'm not as great as a person who's been coding for like 10 years, because the speed that they're typing at, the the logic that they're using, all of these things that has been
Mm.
imprinted
Mm.
in them through experience,
Mm.
I've still not gotten the opportunity to find myself in. And with
Okay.
that being said, you have something called AI, like black box, that could take away that whole gap of expertise that you gain through experience, because this thing understands what an expert understands and what I understand. So
Mm.
as a simple person like me, I could say I want X, Y, and Z, and I show what I understand as far as I understand it. And guess
Mm.
what this thing is going to do? It is going to show me where I'm wrong in what I've showed it. And then in most cases, if you have the right prompts, if you say the right things,
Mm.
meaning if you ask questions in the right manner, in the right approach,
Yeah. Yeah.
then it will be able to show you and help you build these things far faster. A script that will probably take you 2 4 hours to finish won't even take you a minute in total.
Mm.
Maybe it will just take you a few seconds, a few script responses. So with that being said, you even start having other job positions like prompt engineer, who your job is just to tell AIs how to take prompts and how to engage in prompts, and even building prompts to make AI do things. So with that being said, having an artificial intelligence in charge of that machine that only throughputs 10 things in 1 hour and is
Mm.
operated by people, you have just one machine that you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. You don't have to do anything. You basically, the version of servicing a machine learning model is called an update. So you just update it. So with that being said, it's like you have a robot that's going to work and do a job that was done by four people, and it's only going to be done by this particular thing, and it's not even going to be needing anyone to supervise it,
Mhm.
because if anything goes wrong, it has a predetermined um alarm that is supposed to send
Mm.
an alert, or a predetermined alert that is going to come through your phone or your email or whatever the
Mm.
communication choices, and it tells you that this is the error, where, because obviously it should be coded to that level.
Mm.
And you're telling me that business people would not choose that over 10 people, and I mean 4 people, 4 salaries, when you
Mm.
can just buy this thing for the same amount as probably 2 or 4 salaries, but once off,
Yeah.
and you don't have to buy it ever again. You only have to pay for like an upgrade, which is not even like 10%.
And the working time of this thing is different from a human working.
Yeah, the 10 throughputs per hour is going to probably go 5 times, if not 10 times, if not 100 times, because, well, machine learning models don't make mistakes when they are typing. They don't make mistakes they've been giving it when they've been given a definitive task in
Mm.
in 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 a manner that they've been trained to do it. So where you usually get human errors and you have to account for loss, here you barely account for loss, right? Because you'd understand from the confusion matrix, of which is what you use to understand your machine learning model when you're training it to be an AI,
Mm.
on
Mm.
how good or how bad it is with the data set. So
Yeah.
with that being said, through your confusion matrix, you already know I'm only going to be expecting maybe 3 errors through this whole week, and the throughput is this much.
Yo.
you know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that really changes the way things work. Even guys that work with payroll and all of these other things,
Mm.
desk
Mm.
jobs, you're putting machinery now. And once the machinery is doing this thing, you have an app, a phone app or a machine that's
Mm.
doing this thing. It's
Yeah.
like no one needs to type this. The person who wanted to type a list and give it to everyone so that everyone else can replicate it and then share it
Yo.
to everyone else, they don't have to do that. We'll just build one platform. The main person shares a list, everyone has
Mm.
it. And if he wants to change the type of people that have access to it, he has
Mm.
that type of autonomy. So with that being said, it literally just takes away the amount of energy and effort that is necessary to engage in certain activities or to have
Yeah.
certain desired outcomes.
Yeah. I was watching a video on YouTube. People can search this video. I'm sure they'll find it, where they are showing a shop. I think it's Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. But they are showing a shop, and this shop is fully, they call it a smart shop, where there's no
Mm.
one working in the shop. It is just you and your
Yeah,
cart, and you're pushing a smart cart. They call it a smart cart. The moment
yeah,
you pick up an item and you put it in this cart, there's a tablet
it
where
registers.
you're holding.
Mm,
It scans and it tells you the amount. And you take
mm,
another item and it adds from the list of things that are already there, and it adds with what you just added in. And by the time you're done, it's linked to your bank account and it automatically pays by the time you exit the shop. The moment you go and leave your cart and you take your items, it then goes to your email that you're about to make a purchase of these, and it lists all of your item and it shows you the bill. And when the moment you hit confirm, it then hits, it then takes the money from your account and you exit the shop with no help, no one, just a full smart shop. And I was like, this thing of digitizing things, it's going to be extreme, and I'm wondering if we are ready for it. I think that was one of the reasons why we had this episode, just to have this conversation and to look into the future and are we ready for it? When I watched that video, I was shocked. I was shocked to think that so many jobs are yet to be removed. So many people, human resource that are about to lose their jobs. We thought that 2020 is the thing that got a lot of people losing their job, but I think we are yet to experience it. The emerging of AI, the emerging of technology and digital age, us approaching the future. It really talks also to the things we should be studying. I think our government needs to catch up with what is happening in the world in terms of education, what we are learning, the skills that we're getting. Because a lot of people have had hope on retail shops. And if AI, as you just put it, that a lot of jobs are going to be used are going to be taken by machines. And we said it on the previous episode that even when you go to food carts like McDonald's, KFC, there are now tablets, there are now machines that you could just go, you don't even have to go to the till to a person. You could just type your order there and go sit down and you'll see your order coming to you. These little inventions, these little improvement, I think for me, they are talking into what we should be learning and the migration that we should be taking as a country and as a people. And now moving to my follow-up question that now says, the how much of an opportunity is there for those who are entrepreneurs? Are there opportunities for young individuals to start their own job, maybe like coding work or online marketing business, especially in the context of South Africa?
I think I'm going to do something that is slightly not the best thing to do, but I'm going to ask you, you knowing what you know, and in the business interactions that we've had beyond
Yeah,
um podcasts,
sure.
do you find my skill valuable,
Mm, okay.
or is my skill found valuable elsewhere that people would want to pay me directly, even though I do not represent any company?
Mm. Okay.
And if the answer to that is yes, then that means the mere fact that you are proficient in the skill itself gives you the opportunity to
Yeah.
do these things.
Okay.
I think, I think, I think, yeah, that definitely should answer. But either way, the answer is definitely yes. There's an opportunity for every person.
Yeah.
Bro, you could be an accountant. Just learn automation tricks. Just go
Mm,
online, do a bit of automation, learn that. Now you are an accountant that is automated. Because we were talking about people that are like have degrees and are unemployed. Do you know if they had a digital certification added onto their current competence right now, that'd probably be the most thing that's in demand? They'll probably have like 4 or 5 interviews a day.
mm, mm,
They,
mm.
they probably would.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
yeah, I mean, you do, let's just say you do a basic one, business administration. Okay,
Mm,
you do business administration. You know Microsoft Excel and whatnot. Do you know Google Sheets? Do
mm.
you know how to work with big data like Power BI and all of these things, which is still the type of work that you should be doing, but at a larger scale, at an industrious global state scale. Sorry.
Mm.
So let's say you do have business administration and you do a Power BI course. You know how many people just get hired from a Power BI certification? Forget anything else. Now, knowing that you are a business administrator officially with your certificate,
Mm,
and now you have this thing, eceleni, that's like a 3 month certificate, 6 month certificate course thing that you've done that
mm.
says now you are competent in the field of technology in executing these particular things.
Yeah.
That gives you not only institutional knowledge, but that also gives you that additional technological advantage. So that's when you put in your CVs and you get interviews. And out
Mm,
of maybe like 100 interviews, you should probably get 10. Okay, maybe 10's a lot. Maybe 5 to 10 job offers. All right.
mm, mm, mm.
They might not be as great, then that means you just continue adding, because in life there's two things: there's effort, like there's direct effort, and then
Mm.
there's strategy. So strategy includes being smart, utilizing opportunities, networks, and all of these things that make your job easier in such a, or your effort required easier in such a way that you do not have to do as much to achieve the same result. Yet,
Mm.
on the other hand, there are things that are effort extensive that really require you to work really, really hard. And with
Yeah.
that being said, I think it's a matter of a choice for people as to choose where they want to be. But I
Yeah.
would say a bit of both is always needed.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Um, let us go to the final question. I think there are a lot of nuggets that we need to digest from this conversation we had. And I can see if we could talk about this, we will have infinite episodes then. But I want us to wrap it up like this. Maybe explain to us what is a search engine, and then we'll go to your closing remarks after that. But maybe just for a layman, what is a search engine, and what does it mean when these platforms that we use on a daily as entertainment thing or entertainment basis, they are now turning into search engines, and there are people now who are not just entertaining, using them as their platform, exposing their talent, but now they're also getting money out of these platforms. They're getting now paid. As we all know, that Facebook is paying Facebook ads.
Mm,
There's also Twitter ads now. You can also can get paid from X, from having a huge following from X or Twitter. And also there's YouTube. YouTube has been at it for a long time, and I haven't seen a competition for YouTube. And YouTube has been paying a lot of people money. In fact, YouTube has even created millionaires. So what does it mean when something is a search engine and when it's now even benefiting a person, like getting them paid?
oh man, definitely, definitely. Search engines. So before I even start, we have some well-known search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, and for people that should not be doing certain things, DuckDuckGo. If you know DuckDuckGo, hey, you probably are not supposed to be doing things that you're doing on the internet. But anyway,
What is that?
um,
But don't explain it. I don't think I want to know.
it's definitely not the most. DuckDuckGo is like Google, but for people who are not ethical. So Google tracks your information. So Google knows you,
Oh,
what you like. It knows they create a profile. They have your biometrics. They have your
the
address.
algorithm.
They have your logins. They have your favorite spots to eat. They know where you go when you have money because you search. You would see where's this place, and then they know and they can see from your spending habits and your
Mm,
emails.
mm, mm,
So there's a digital version of you that exists in Google's database. And
mm.
with that, they can sell it to any marketing company and or make marketing strategies towards you
Yeah.
in such a way that they bring targeted things that you might not see the instant results of, but they do have a result. So I'm not sure if you've noticed, but for a lot of years, we've had a lot of marketing for your Fantas and all of this on
Mm,
television, right? Your
yeah.
Fanta, your Coca-Cola and whatnot. Even though people still buy it, but they still market. Why? Because marketing has an outcome. It has a certain outcome to it, a connotative outcome to it. That's obviously associated with that particular outcome that they know and want. But anyway, a search engine, my brother, to put it in the most simplest form, is a platform that is used to find
Mm,
information that is on the internet, information that is in someone else's computer or in some other database that is not where you are. So just like as you'd go to your dictionary to find words that you don't know,
mm,
you can do the same thing on Google. The only difference is with Google, it doesn't end with just a dictionary. You also have Wikipedia that's going to tell you short stories and explanations of how things worked
yeah.
or how they came about. And then you have YouTube that's going to show you a visual version of the same thing.
Mm.
So, with that being said, a search engine is a platform just like how way back we used to have, what did they used to call these big books?
Yellow page.
Encyclopedias. Yeah, we had something called encyclopedias,
Sure,
and you'd have
yes.
an encyclopedia for geography, you'd have an encyclopedia for whichever, and then that
Mm,
contained everything there is to know about that particular subject from the start to the end.
sure.
The internet is basically a direct line to different encyclopedias. So you just pull your encyclopedias onto your phone, and then it also allows you to interact and do a lot of things. So it's basically you. A search engine is the ability to interact with the external world that is digital.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just to find information very quickly. So they use sorting algorithms, they
Mm,
use indexing. So if you're in South Africa and you ask the nearest garage, they're not going to show you some Australian, um, you know, um,
yeah,
petrol station,
sure.
because maybe an Australian designed the platform, but it's going to show you a South African one. Why? Because your location on your phone, which
Mm,
shows a MAC address or IP address or an IMEI number, is going to show that you're in this location, and using that, it's going to index and find the most relevant solutions for you. Right. So it's like having a librarian in the library, you
okay.
know. It's
Yeah.
like that. That's what search engines are supposed to be, at least. It's
Mm,
supposed to be designed to help users find information on the internet.
so I know I mixed two separate questions, but then the second part of it was now these platforms, one of them, the one you just mentioned, it was YouTube, the visual part of a search engine. We upload videos on YouTube. It's us, you and me, and all of other content creators uploading videos. And we do a lot of different things, a lot of categories, for different content, you know. And as you said, someone can then go there, search maybe like how to make a pie, and then a lot of videos of
Mm.
how to make a pie will appear. And again, as you said, there will be South African versions, American versions, because there are a lot of different recipes that we use globally. But how then do we reach a point where we make money in these platforms? Um, yeah, I guess that's my question because it's for me, I don't know if I'm understanding it correctly, but I also understand it as a marketing platform or it plays as a marketing role in some way. Maybe enlighten us a bit about that and maybe how it goes if you know about it.
Well, I think the first and most important thing is understanding that um, any platform that's a search engine can be a platform to market, because what you find as the top and as the answers are most likely the answers that you're going to take. So if you are unethical and decide to shove every other answer down just because you want to put yours and and your friends' versions up there at the top through maybe SEO, something called search engine optimization, which is done in digital marketing, which makes your particular store stand out. So whenever people search, they find it at the top. Um, that that's definitely going to um, be a great marketing tool, because every time a person searches and they need of this or they want to know about this, guess what's going to happen? That's the first response they're going to see.
Yeah.
So that has created its own actual industry, marketing industry, each its own industry within marketing. Um, it's
Mhm.
called, as I've mentioned, SEO, search engine optimization.
Sure.
So, with that being said, you have people working full time managing other people's business presence online, so
Mm.
that whenever people search for a particular thing, that they're able to at least be able to
Okay. Yeah.
you know find the solutions in the desired manner.
Mm. Mm. Oh, so that how it also works with the social medias. That whenever I search about the story, your account is one of the first to
Yeah,
show me about that story. And then obviously you become
yeah.
people and a lot of following comes to you and that attracts a lot of marketing people to your platform or to your page.
Definitely. I mean, so anyone who
Okay.
works in marketing full time, they'll tell you that they are trying to crack the algorithm or the YouTube
Mm,
algorithm or the Facebook algorithm or the Instagram or the TikTok algorithm, because the algorithm is basically another machine learning model that's taught that if a person searches for this and looks for this and watches this for this long and likes this and then interacts with this, then most likely the next time they come around, you should give them this and this and this,
mm,
because it is relevant to these desires that they've been trying to fulfill with these different things. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So with that being said, when people actively look and learn as to how to do certain things, they find themselves in positions where they can learn how which posting styles and methods and words are going to gain traction and which
Sure.
hashtag is going to make a big difference. So, with that being said, that is definitely an industry on its own. And if you're a person who's interested in marketing, I would definitely advise that you go towards this and really focus
Okay.
in doing it, because it pays really well, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if people know this. The highest paid people on the planet, majority,
Mm,
are people that are in charge of marketing campaigns or the people that are actually selling. So, if they're really interested in getting themselves making a bit of money, then you should definitely go towards marketing, especially digital marketing with the
yeah.
new age coming.
Okay. No, man, thank you so much for offering us the opportunity of getting to know a lot of things, of digging in your well of wisdom. Thank you so much for that. We're hoping to have another episode in the near future. Maybe talking about other stuff because there's a lot of things that you know. Yeah, we enjoyed having you, and I believe that our listeners truly enjoyed having you. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe let us give you an opportunity to share your closing remarks and what you'd like to say to our listeners. Maybe if you want, you could even share your details where people can follow you. Yeah, over to you, man.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm definitely grateful. I hope people took something from this. And with that being said, I think we are sorted. Except for the fact that I do want people to really, really, really take initiative and try to see which part of their skill sets or their interests could be integrated towards digital skills or digital age. And with that being said, I'd say they should maybe start following a lot more people that are relevant in the digital age that just post about those things. So they can just search whatever their relative interest is on their platforms using hashtags. If you're in digital marketing, you use hashtag, you search digital marketing, it'll probably show you the most liked or the most relevant post that has that hashtag there. So through that, you can really start following a lot of people that you need to follow. I mean, you can't do something and be in an industry and not be relevant to the people of that industry. To be good in something, you need to think about that thing, talk about that thing, and engage with other people. So, with that being said, follow a lot of people that do what you want to do. If you're interested in data analytics, data engineering, applied data science, and cybersecurity just a bit, you can definitely follow me. I don't constantly post that, but you can definitely follow me. On Facebook, it's Sam Mngoma, SAMMNGOMA, Sam Mngoma. On Instagram, it's Mavs_ZA, which is MAVZ_ZA. So, yeah, if they want to find me there, definitely do so. And then I'd just really advise them that they should probably just start looking for things to learn. And then from there, as they are learning, through the platforms that I and the resources that we had shared earlier on,
Mm,
I think they're going to be given a lot of ideas and a lot of descriptions that they should probably search and that they should follow up on through maybe following the people that talk about those relevant things to their industries, and basically just the whole cohort, the whole cohort of things that fall under the industry that they have interest in or would like to pursue a career in, then they should do so. I would also like to advise everyone not to maybe waste their time, because with a lot of these things, you find yourself having a lot of autonomy. So you have a decision to make, and whether you want to take action or not really relies on you. So with that being said, I would say people should be very proactive in their lives and should change the way maybe they do things if they're not happy. And if they are happy, then they must just improve on those things and maybe strengthen the way they feel is weak. I'd like to thank the opportunity. I'd like to thank them for listening and request that if there is anything they'd like to find out, definitely comment on all the different platforms and raise engagement. Because one way to raise engagement and to break something called the algorithm or to figure it out is by having a lot of interactions. So if we have a lot of people interacting, posting, commenting, sharing, then the algorithm is going to find this relevant to a lot of people that are within the demographics that we are in, the categories that Spotify and Apple Play and YouTube has built, and then will probably share amongst those people, and that can make a very big break. So I would say people must like, they must share, they must engage in each and every single post, and in that manner, their community can grow and be something. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Empowerment Podcast. Inspire, equip, and empower.